Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do knife of the year for the price range of $100 to $250. So capping off at $250. These are the knives that came out this year that truly, to me, deserve to be at the highest, level for this category. These are obviously all knives that I own. These are knives that I love. Yes, some of these knives are newer to the collection, but it's kind of how it goes. It's just what am I loving right now, right? So let us go over them one by one, and then I'll tell you which one's the best. At this point, I really don't know. So it's going to be an interesting sort of battle, so to speak. And I guess I do know, sort of. But let's start with the Quiet Carry Drift. This is the G10 Drift. It did come in a titanium version, much like its older brother, the Waypoint. So it comes in the same versions as this, titanium, and then satin or stonewashed, and then you can get like, I can't do it. Oh, I gotta shut this blade. So you can get it in titanium with stonewash. You can get it in G10 with, I think it only comes in a stonewash, I think, in the G10. Anyway, there's a bunch of different versions. Sorry, I don't know why I'm all over the place with this. But this one's around $250. This one was actually sent to me by Quiet Carry. Shout out to them. This is one of my favorite sort of everyday carry, I'm going to use it knives, work knives. I've used this in the yard a lot. This is probably, next to the Waypoint, one of the knives I've used the most this year. Just outside cutting weed whacker cord, cutting open mulch bags and fertilizer bags and limbs and weeds and whatnot. Just, this is what I put in my pocket when I did yard work because it's rust proof. I sweat like crazy. It's got a great grip for the G10, and it's Vanex super clean steel, so I know it's going to hold a great edge. Not the toughest steel, but I'm not asking it to do crazy stuff out there. I just thought it deserved to be on the list. It's not going to win the category just because there's other knives in this category that excite me more. But as an everyday carry knife, the Quiet Carry knives are just so hard to beat. This is also sort of an updated version. They had one with a hole that came out last year, I think. So there's that. I've had a few of the titanium ones. They would be in a higher bracket because they're $325. I believe these are like $240, so they're just sneaking in under that $250 mark. Excellent ergonomics, either in this back grip or this choil. Super thin, slicey stock. Vanex super clean again. This is a rust-proof knife. The liners are made of LC200N. Hardware is marine grade. You have a reversible deep carry wire clip, which is excellent. You can reverse flick this lefty or righty. Thumb flick it excellently. Has fantastically large, nice studs. This is the way you need to do studs. I hate when studs are small and like just pokey and shit. Chris Reeve. But anyway, this is an absolutely fantastic knife, but it doesn't have much fidget to it. You can fidget with it, but it doesn't have like smooth, droppy shut action. It is smooth, I should say. It's not drop shut, though, and that's because it's on washers. And you guys know I'm not a big washer fan, but for a knife you're going to use and work with outside, it makes perfect sense. So I really love the Quiet Carry Drift. Not going to win this category, but definitely one of the best knives in that price range this year is the G10 Quiet Carry Drift. And if you want to say one of the best knives in the 300, or I should say the 250 to, what was the other range I had? 250 to 500. I think the titanium one would be in that range as well. Maybe the knurled with satin. Ooh, that'd be, I love that knife. It just, the frame locks didn't work left-handed for me, and that's why I wanted the G10. So, love it. Quiet Carry Drift, definitely a contender. That's number 5. Number 4, And I am going to do this in order, it turns out. I have this now planned in my head. I can do things quickly on the fly, baby. Number 4 is the Demko Knives AD 20.5. So you guys know I really liked the AD 20, but it was just a little too big for me. You know, I couldn't spidey flick it that well because it doesn't have a traditional detent, and being so huge, just needed to get a lot of leverage behind it to get a good spidey flick, and I never felt confident with it. I always felt like it was going to stop and come back down on me, and that's one of the negatives about this knife. But then they came out with the AD 20.5. I picked this up at Blade Show. This is an exclusive to Blade Show, or a numbered one, 94 of 100. This is the clip point version. It normally comes with shitty plastic gray Grivery scales. And then the steel on here, which is the detriment of this knife, is the AUS 10A. It's made in Taiwan. Pretty sure it's made in the cold steel factory for the Demkos. Now, I say it's the downfall because me, as a person who doesn't even hard use knives, who uses them for EDC, who readily admits that I open packages, I cut paper, I cut a little cardboard, you know, I cut a lot of shipping labels. That's my, you know, hardest use task, is millions of shipping labels. This, even for me, this steel was noticeably, like, just not holding an edge. This is the third edge I've had on here. Granted, it did go through Scab's testing, so shout out to Choir Boys Cutlery. Go check out that channel. Scab is the man. Love you, Scab. It went through his testing, so one of those edges you could call a wash, but for me, cutting shipping labels and packages, it should not have gotten dull that quickly, and it did. I've talked to Jared Neve about this extensively, and he had sharpened like 5 of these, and he has noticed the same thing. So it's pretty much confirmed at this point that this AUS 10 is soft or weak or whatever you want to call it. It was a shitty heat treat. I don't know. But if this knife came out in a better steel, it would immediately be much higher up on this list. But that steel just killed it. I do have these unbelievably sexy scales from Carbodize. Big shout out to Carbodize. You can check him out on Instagram. That's Carbodize with a K. His name is Spencer, and he does some fantastic work. $115 for the scales, $25 for the backspacer. I also have skiff bearings in here. This comes with steel caged steel bearings, and I will argue to my dying day that that is poop. Those are poop bearings. Don't put those in knives. So this now has ceramic bearings in a phosphor bronze cage, courtesy of Skiff Bearings. Check their website. They sell them. I think it's 1/4 inch, 1 millimeter. We are dead centered. It's a gorgeous knife, I think. Also kind of a utilitarian design looking, work knife looking. But it's gorgeous with these scales. And I love the Shark Lock, guys. This Shark Lock is one of the coolest things that has happened to the knife world in the last few years. It's so fidgety, so fun. I can't wait to see it get licensed out or have them do different knives with the Shark Lock. It's just going to be cool. The only downside to the Shark Lock has no detent. You can just, you know, I've heard of people jumping off of counters and having it like open up on them. So you got to make sure it's tucked in against the seam of your pants in your pocket to be safe. And you got to make sure you give it a good flick. But again, this size knife, it just works a lot better for me personally in my large glove size hand. I can get the reverse flick easily, the thumb flick on the stud. And I actually enjoy the slow roll on this knife very, very much. You also have the Shark Lock dance. So you have a lot of options. It's a fun knife. It's a fidgety knife. It's a cool knife. Steel sucks. And there's no detent, right? I do wish Lynch would finally come out with the lefty clips. They're going to make a deep carry clip for this. That would be fantastic as well. But this is number 4 on the list for the $100 to $250 range category. I also think stock with the Grivery and the AUS 10A, this knife should probably be a budget knife. This should be like a $95 knife, maybe. And then I would be able to stomach it more. Probably it may have won budget knife of the year had it been $95, but it's $150 retail. And I take that back because I don't think anything could have beat this knife for budget knife of the year. This is the Asher Titanium and M390 Nomad for $96. You get that for $96, but this with plastic and AUS 10A is $150. That pretty much answers, it explains it itself. I don't need to say more, and I can't because I can't talk. So that is the Demko AD 20.5 coming in at number 4. So this one's tough. I don't know which way to go here. Do I go for value or do I go for performance? Or my preference. And I think this is my preference. So I'm going to go with number 3, the Kunwu Knives Tau. So this is the Tau. This knife I got on a Kickstarter. This is in M390 steel. Titanium with an orange peel finish. Very nice micro milling. Damascus pivot collar. And I don't know if that's Damascus or just a blue anodized lanyard pin. Titanium backspacer. Satin finish on the M390. Action for days. Great detent. Great front flipper. Yeah, I got this on Kickstarter for $134. That's just dumb. It's literally dumbfounding to see that. I mean, it is the same materials as that Asher Nomad I told you about, M390 titanium. So, $96 for this one. So, people are doing it, right? But this obviously has way more detail and all that stuff. It's just incredible. They do sell these on their website, or at least they were. They will be back, I believe. And they're $185 retail, which I think is still a steal. You know what I mean? Considering the knives out there we get with these materials for $350, $400, sometimes $500, right? It's just an amazing knife. It fits the hand extremely well. You can choke up onto this flat. Excellent ergonomics. The clip leaves me wanting a little bit. It's kind of thin and, but it works and it's deep carry. I really like that. Goes to the butt end and it's reversible, which is something you don't see a lot in these higher price categories is reversible clips. Actually you do. I should take that back because the last two had reversible clips as well. The Demko has an extra lefty clip, but you know what I mean. So this knife is incredible. It cuts like an absolute dream. It has an excellent edge on it. Full flat grind. Slicey as hell. Ergonomic as hell. Action, like I said, for days. Just a really cool knife. The reason it's not higher on the list, basically, it doesn't have a hole. If it had a hole for deployment, it would be way up higher on this list. It's already number 3. But it would be higher if it had that deployment method. For me personally, am a fidgeter of the middle finger flick variety. And this doesn't have that. And this is nice. And I love having this knife because it gives me the chance to have something different in the pocket, So I don't always have to have a middle finger flick knife. That's why I like having the Malibu, because it's great to have a button lock flipper every once in a while in your pocket, right? One thing I would change about this is I would have that jimping go up and around the corner. Shout out to Jared Neve. I have on occasion, you saw it earlier, I kind of missed it, and then the blade kind of came out a little bit. And if you missed that, it's a little bit unforgiving up here. So that's one thing I would change, along with putting a hole here, because you literally could have put a hole here and gotten that flick on as well. So that is the Kunwu Tau. Absolute beast of a knife for the price. $185 retail. You just can't beat that. Number 3, the Kunwu Tau. Now it comes down to your last two. And number 2 is the Kunwu Knives Roxy 3. One of my favorite knives this year. A knife I sought after since June when I first handled this at Blade Show. Just an excellent example of a well-done knife by Kunwu Knife Co. It's a bit rare these days that I like a Kunwu. Look at this gorgeous knife. It's a Todd knife and tool design. 3-inch blade. You have this beautiful choil right here. The ergonomics are so money for me personally. As a lefty, this knife works exceptionally well. I apologize for the lighting. It keeps going sort of in and out, and I'm not sure what's doing that. I don't know if it's my pasty hand doing that, or my shirt or something. Let me try taking off some stuff here. All right, let's try that. I don't know. There it goes. I don't know what changed, but as soon as I put this down, it's going to do it again, right? Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Anyway, the Roxy 3 is just an excellent knife, excellent clip, excellent carry, just excellent action. I do have skips in here. Man, I kind of wish there was a flipper here now that I just thought of that. Excellent front flipper. Again, could have went around with the jimping, but I've never missed this one. And where it's at, the whole deployment. As a lefty, that was the first time I ever did it. I've never locked it up because they rode the clip up high enough that you can rest your thumb on it. Bang. No issues. Obviously right-handed. Just as good. Drops to your nail. Smooth shake home. Front flip. One of my favorite ways to deploy this, the thumb flick. It's very reminiscent of one of my favorite knives, the F5.5. You guys know that. Excellent cutter. I do see an issue here with sharpening, but luckily I'm not really into that. So it doesn't matter. I'll probably have somebody put an edge on it at some point. And yeah, it's just an excellent knife. $238. So this is probably the most expensive knife. No, I think the Drift might be more expensive than this, but this is $238 in this beautiful tiger stripe ano. Just an excellent knife for this price category. The Kunwu Roxy 3 coming in at number 2 for the 100 to 250 category. And last but absolutely not least, your number 1 knife, your winner of Knife of the Year for the $100 to $250 category is none other than the Mallory Designs Forest. And everybody saw this coming. As soon as I got this knife, it was just a freaking beast of a knife. It was going to skyrocket in these categories. And I knew it was going to win something. I wasn't sure if it would win Knife of the Year. It still could, because I think what I'm going to do is do these videos, and then I'll do a final video with all of the knives that have won these categories and see which one of those I like best. And it may just be the most expensive. That happens, but we'll see. This has one of the best edges I've ever had on a knife. It's so thin and so slicey. S35EN. Marbled / shred carbon fiber. You have a steel liner lock. Excellent action. It's not drop shut. It's because it's a very thin blade. The detent is absolutely money. Reverse flick is fantastic. One of my favorite to reverse flick. Got a great thumb flick as well. It's super lightweight and slim. And this clip, to me, is just fantastic. Titanium backspacer and clip, by the way. Just in pocket, it carries like an absolute dream. You don't even notice it. But then you have 3.5 inches of blade here. I think it's like a little over 3 cutting edge. But it doesn't look like it, does it? This looks like a 4-inch cutting edge to me. This is how it feels, too. It's just so good. Probably my favorite knife I've gotten in the last few months. So an excellent knife and Knife of the Year for this category, the Mallory Designs Forest. Shout out to Dylan Mallory for just killing it on this knife. And it's a stonewash blade, yet I still love it. So that's your winner, the Mallory Designs Forest. Number 2 was the Knives Roxy 3. Number 3, the Kunwu Knives Tau. Number 4, the Demko Knives AD 20.5. And coming in at number 5, the Quiet Carry G10 Drift. These are your Knives of the Year for the 100 to 250 category. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you all. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. Peace.